Respond to the following questions without speaking, as we require that your microchip be synchronized with our equipment before we begin. Think the word yes for the following questions while we test. Do you understand? Are you aware that you have signed a release that your thoughts be turned over to us in accordance with the 2007 Terrorist Protection Act? Did you do this with full awareness and of your own volition? Do not touch the microchip.
It just feels funny, and I thought I heard the voice of John Lennon there for a minute.
Interference patterns may occur. Pay no attention. We will proceed. You were in the vicinity when the terrorist attacks of 9/11 occurred. What do you want to report?
I saw the two towers going down from my living room window. I saw debris all over the cars and streets outside my apartment. I saw people in my neighborhood with gas masks on afterwards, but, I didn't want to wear one. I could have died that day like so many others, but I didn't die, so why wear a gas mask now? It seems so lame to me. I saw the plane hit the buildings on TV hundreds of times over 2 days. Over and over I saw it crash. 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:17, 2:47, over and over. I lost count. I couldn't sleep. I was delirious, so I can't say how many times I saw the planes hit the buildings on TV, but it was all night long.
Could you be more specific? What do you want to report?
Well, actually, I saw that Tower 7, the third tower. It went down entirely, even though it wasn't hit by anything. Like it just completely collapsed by just being there. And I thought, you should know that the other buildings right next to the World Trade, they didn't fall down like that. And even debris fell into them, but they're still there. I think you should check into why the other buildings didn't fall. Maybe terrorists built the other buildings and knew ahead of time. And Tower 7 fell really fast. Scientists all over the world say it fell too fast for what you said happened to it. And
noted that you believe buildings in New York were built by terrorists. Continue.
Well, I saw all the debris from the buildings being taken away in big trucks like 2 days later, and I heard most of it was sent to China. I think you should check into how come they got 80% of all the steel from those buildings. Didn't you want to look through that stuff some more? They're communists, aren't they? And then the photo ID that fell out of the plane, I think you should know that whatever kind of plastic that one of the terrorists had his picture ID in, well, that must be a new plastic. That's a secret, since that ID survived the entire crash, and they said even the black box inside the plane didn't survive. And this little plastic paper thing somehow managed to just fly out and land someplace where the authorities could find it, so they could tell us this guy's name on TV. That must be some kind of powerful plastic. It may be some kind of terrorist weapon, and you may not be aware of it.
Okay. Noted that the plastic ID could be a terrorist weapon. Continue.
And then there's the BBC thing that was all over the internet recently. They must know something we don't know. How come the BBC news reporter said that Tower 7 had already come down while the tower was still in full view on the screen behind her? What if the reporter's a terrorist? What if terrorists had infiltrated the teleprompter machines at the BBC? Don't you find this strange? How come you haven't reported anything about this yet on CNN?
We cannot come forward with any allegations until we fully investigate this matter.
Well then, so how come you spent hours and hours of news time talking about how Anna Nicole Smith died, like you're going to get to the bottom of that, but you don't seem very interested in this strange teleprompter issue, like people are getting in trouble if they talk publicly about it. They see something doesn't add up, but they can't say anything.
Clearly, we're still investigating the process.
But if we have the best and brightest in all the world, how come we still can't explain a lot of things that happened that day? Are you embarrassed by all this, or are you hiding something? Which is it?
Irrelevant to this investigation.
All right, then what about NORAD? And I really think you need to check into this one. This is American Aerospace Command, and they couldn't intercept the plane that hit the Pentagon. They were in practice mode just for that exact period of time? Couldn't you have gotten them out of practice mode, like really fast, since this was a national emergency? This scares me. The fact that whatever is protecting the space above my head is kind of slow on the uptake. So you're rushing me into being afraid of something you still can't figure out. But you couldn't rush those planes over to the Pentagon. And it's a no-fly zone even. The only thing that makes sense is that terrorists have infiltrated NORAD. I want to report that. You may be looking in the wrong place for terrorists. NORAD is a government agency.
You must trust that your government is working to keep you safe and sound.
Well, what if we have different ideas of what safe is? And I know one thing, it's not safe to question what you said happened on 9/11. People get ridiculed or called traitors for questioning it. Very smart people have a lot of questions about 9/11, and you never talk about this on the news. Have you seen the Scholars for 9/11 Truth website? There are hundreds and hundreds of websites like this.
End of
all
session. Do you swear that what you have said is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
You tell me.